Good morning. It is 7:20 a.m. on Thursday, March 18th, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, one important update is that yesterday I went ahead and I finished watching season 3 of Infinity Train, the cartoon I talked about yesterday. And I don't know if part of it was just me kind of talking through my feelings about the show or what, but for some reason, season 3 really got its hooks in me in a way that I had been somewhat resistant to for seasons 1 and 2. So, like, whatever it was that I couldn't quite put my finger on that I felt like was missing seems to have not been missing anymore. So I thought season 3 was really great. So, that show continues to have a lot of cool mystery to it, and also occasionally darker than you'd think. It's yeah, I mean it's a PG-13 cartoon for sure. Um, but yeah, pretty good. I thought that was interesting. So the thing that is going to be hard to ignore today, even if I were inclined to ignore it, is that today is the day that the Snyder Cut is released on HBO Max. Now, I have some ambivalent feelings about that because, on the one hand, I didn't especially care for. So let me put it this way, I guess. I historically have not been a big fan of Zack Snyder as a filmmaker. I think he has a lot of real talent when it comes to cool looking visuals and action choreography and a lot of those sorts of things. But I just generally feel like his storytelling decisions really don't align very well with my preferences. And almost every time he makes a storytelling decision, I find that, like, I would have made a different one. I'm not sure I like that very much. And I have to say that, the movies that he's made that I enjoy more than the others tend to be the ones where he's working from someone else's source material, and to the extent that he diverges from the source material, I like it less. And so I'll just, say it straight out. Like, I mean, it's absolutely a matter of taste, but I have not particularly enjoyed Zack Snyder films in the past. And I have enjoyed Joss Whedon films in the past, certainly acknowledging now that it's really a shame to discover that Joss Whedon has been such a awful person to a lot of people over the years. So that's really disappointing. But it's nonetheless true that in general, the movies and so on that he's made, I enjoyed more, at least, than I have Zack Snyder movies. And so when I saw the theatrical cut of Justice League, I liked it okay. I didn't think it was great. Had problems. But the things that I liked more about it did feel a little bit like, this feels like a decision that Joss Whedon made and not one that Zack Snyder made. And that was kind of my feeling on it. And so then once there started to be all of this fandom push for the Snyder Cut, it was frustrating in a lot of respects because a lot of the fans were pretty toxic about it. And I'm not sure that I really like the idea of giving toxic fans what they want in an entitled way. But that said, I can imagine that just like I have a preference where my storytelling preferences don't really align very much with Zack Snyder, he has his fans, there's no question about it. There's lots of people who just absolutely love what he does with his movies, and it's like, okay, well, it's not what I want, but all right, I guess. And so on that basis, the more that we would hear about how different the theatrical cut was, it's like, I mean, I get why, the people who really like Zack Snyder's stuff might feel like that's not what they wanted and it's unfair in some way. Although I don't think it's unfair. I mean, for very personal reasons that are completely understandable, Zack Snyder had to step away during the original filmmaking process, and they had to bring in someone else to fix it. And so that person came in and made their own storytelling decisions, which is probably part of why they agreed to do it. And so you could say that it wasn't very successful as a final product in the theatrical cut, but I mean, there's nothing unfair about it. I mean, but well, aside from apparently the allegations that Joss Whedon was really awful on set, and to Ray Fisher in particular, so I don't know about that. But in any case, I had some ambivalent feelings just about the very concept of fans saying, no, not like that, make the movie we want. But then again, the more we would hear about this version of the Snyder Cut and just like how different it was, I'm not sure if I like. Well, so I haven't watched it. My point overall is that I plan to watch it. I don't know that I expect to, like it necessarily, because I haven't really liked other Zack Snyder movies. But I do think it's kind of an interesting experiment, though, to kind of say, here's these two different filmmakers. They're taking this same story with the same cast and the same setup in different directions. And I think that's interesting to say, well, how do these two filmmakers handle this differently? And so we'll see. Maybe it will feel more coherent overall because it is going to be following the original intention for the whole setup. That seems probably likely to me, but it might be more coherent in pursuing kind of a line that is not my favorite. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe this might be the one that turns me around a little bit on this whole, presented DC cinematic universe. We'll see. I don't know. But in any event, what I do hope is, despite the fact that some of the toxic elements of the fandom made me uncomfortable, I hope that for the people who really wanted there to be this Snyder Cut, I hope that they like it. I don't want people to be disappointed. I do suspect that a lot of them will say they love it regardless, just because they have to kind of double down on, what they said they wanted it, and now they're going to. There's an element to which, like, occasionally I hear people just really going to the mat to defend Batman versus Superman, and I'm just like, wow, okay, all right. And so I occasionally have to remind myself to not second guess that they don't actually like the things that they say they like. So, I don't know. But we'll see. I hope that the people who really wanted it to exist enjoy it. I hope that I like it okay enough that I don't regret spending the 4 hours on it. We'll see. All right. In the meantime, I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.